Hi there!
Hello and welcome to our second video from Be, Do, Learn, Have, Live.
I'm Wendy.
And I'm Dave, and we're wearing the same clothes because we're actually doing these videos. We're going to do the first few right here in one spot because, you know, that's the beauty of video. And we will get into this. So last time we left off with a very broad history of what's kind of gone on in the past. On this one, we're going to go into what's brought us from that point up to pretty much where we are now. So we left you off with I'd essentially started our business in 2004, and it's now 2018, and in this time frame the business has gone on, developed, and it's more through, I would say, my persistence and my drive, although we haven't figured out even to this point as to what is my exact why I do things. I just seem to have put it down the best I can at this point that I am a creator of some sorts, and if I'm going to put my hand to anything, I'm going to build it, try and make it the best or biggest it possibly can be. And I don't say that in sort of some crazy macho way. It just seems to be the thing that falls down, that if I'm gonna attempt something, it's gonna be big and crazy and wild, because that's how I roll.
So what's the plan for the company then?
So the plan for the company at this point, now that I've actually got a vision for it, is to take it across Canada. So this will be the largest Canadian-owned service company, and we will be changing the name in the next little while.
Yeah, we're under rebranding right now.
That's
or
right.
Rebranding as in we've got the idea of the brand, we're still waiting on the logo design, and once we start getting that out, we can roll things out as a co-branding and then
That's
logo.
right.
So that's the plan.
So with a little bit more on the business, it was started out as me, Wendy reluctantly on the phones, and it remained that way for probably a couple of years.
Yep.
At which point I was thinking, well, I'm pretty well sucking at this. I'm not doing a very good job, not bringing in a whole lot of money or anything else. And all I know is if I want to grow the business to more than me, I have to bring on people. So I think my first thing was we hired an apprentice. I'd also gone out and looked for some business help because, again, I was a skilled trade, but I have no experience in business whatsoever.
Yeah. Just
knowing, well, there's got to be more than me, and clearly I'm not doing what I need to do, so I have to learn something. Oh, where's that learn word? And so there was a lot of learning that went on over a few years. We ended up increasing the team, getting a few extra trucks, moved out to an office, and the last couple of years we've actually moved to an office that's now twice the size, and in the last few months we've actually expanded on that a little bit more. So there is growth going on. It's frustrating to me that it's not as fast as I would like it to be, but that has to fall squarely on me.
Exactly.
And in those years, Wendy has had time in and out of the business, looking after the kids as they've been growing up, and is now fully back in the business with an intent of helping us see that it grows. And I think that's kind of the main thing. Yeah.
So how do we start moving along on the personal development path? How do we move out of our thinking like the masses and how everybody else thinks to thinking more streamlined and more aware and more being?
Okay, so on that front of the being, I would say that it's this constant thought going through my head of there's got to be more, there's got to be something else, some way that I can develop, and what do I need to do? Well, at this point I've gone all the way through business, and my mindset was such that, well, I've done my schooling, I've got what I learned to do, and now I'm coasting along what I'd learned 15 years prior, and going, okay, well, this is good enough, and it's not. Somehow along the line, I think I end up starting to speak to a coach or bringing so that's right. I brought in a business strategist, just someone I'd met, and he advised that I met a coach for personal development. I'm like, well, okay. And through a little bit of that, they'd said, hey, go in and go to do a university course for over 6 months or something, a little bit of time. that would probably be like the first aspect there of going, oh wait, just a sec, learning? I have to do that? Makes sense. And actually doing those courses, I certainly realized that I'd grown myself and I'd grown the knowledge base. I'd also had an idea at this point that now I've seen other people in a post-schooling type environment and seeing where they progressed and what they're learning, why they were on this course too, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of good information that came from that. And from there, I think it led into us having another business coach, and all these little things kind of trickled in, and somewhere along the line, a little light bulb sort of went off, and it's like, okay, maybe I need to do more developing of myself. And so I'm kind of going through, great, I'm starting to understand this a little bit more. And I was thinking, you know what, they don't actually teach kids anything about money. And of course, up to this point, all I'd been doing is throwing my money into GICs, RSPs, I guess in America that'd be the 401ks. There'd be these different, mutual fund type things that I'd stick money into, and it's just been sitting there accumulating. I've been adding to it for retirement. And so I looked at this and thought, oh, well, you know what? I haven't really spent much time with the kids talking to them about money. And I've been learning about money for the business. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's important to kind of know where cash comes in, goes out, and some of the values of it. Not that I knew a whole lot, and I still would say that I probably don't know like all there is to know about money. But I figured at that point, okay, you know what? I'll go out and find a book to try and see if I can teach the kids about money. So I went to the local bookstore, and I pulled up, after looking at a couple of books, I ended up seeing Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I thought, okay, well, I'm a dad. Am I rich or poor? I don't know. This looks like it's something for teaching kids. So I ended up grabbing this thing, and once I ended up reading this, I came to the realization that oh my God, we've got this money saved up, and we're probably better than I was getting told. Probably 80% of the population. I'm going, great, and that's not a whole lot of money. We basically would not be able to retire on that the way we were currently going. So I'm going, okay, I started off trying to teach the kids about money, and ended up going, what are we gonna do? How can I improve our situation? How can I learn? How can I kind of grow? And so needless to say, the boys started reading the book. Well, at least our eldest did. He read that book. I ended up getting a few more Robert Kiyosaki books. And we ended up, because I'd got into the Rich Dad, Poor Dad kind of mindset thing, I followed on Robert Kiyosaki's and got onto some courses with him for real estate coaching, and then we signed on for some other ones. I think we spent about $30,000 back in 2016 on these courses, and so far they've done for me.
But the reason is we weren't in the right mindset at that point. We weren't tuned into the B side, as I was saying before, about being aware and having the gratitude and learning about things. We just didn't have the wherewithal to actually really understand what we were actually reading or learning really at that time, really.
That's right.
I think so.
So my thumbs down is more actually about us than the Robert Kiyosaki courses, because the information there, I'm sure, is absolutely amazing. And the people seem to be, fairly nice and whatever on there. But there's two folds. One, our minds were not in the right space for actually accepting that information, as well as even now, I wouldn't say that real estate is particularly a passion of mine. It's just
in the future,
it's a way of getting rich, and you'll hear that all the rich people out there have real estate as part of their wealth strategy, and it's like, okay, that's great, but you have to meet the right people, and anyway, so that was kind of one of those experiences. Later on that year, I ended up watching something, and a Facebook stream came across my mind from a lady called Mary Morrissey, who is a spiritual leader and teacher, and through a bunch of these little free Facebook video posts that came on, I ended up going, okay, this sounds to be fairly reasonable, seems to make a lot of sense, and I signed up to what was her online 12-week Dream Builder course. And that was the start. Now, I don't know if we want to go on a little bit more, or...
I wasn't particularly interested in what they were showing me about Mary Morrissey's videos. I was just trying to get work done. I had a lot of stuff to do at work and I wasn't really interested in watching the videos. I had too much on my plate, my excuse at the time, and again I wasn't aware of the benefits of her. But let's talk a little bit more about Mary Morrissey later, because we have done some more stuff with her anyway. But we're going to stop this video right now because we're running over our time limit, and we'll
carry on from where we're leaving off right here.
Yeah.
And we will get into a lot more wonderful information. So with that, see you on the next video.